On a recent video, I talked about reasons your business can't scale. Today, I'm going to show you 5 more reasons your business can't scale. When I say scale, I'm not talking about incremental growth. I'm not talking about growing your business 10% per year or 5% per year. I'm talking about end over end growth. I'm talking about 100% growth, 200% growth, 300% growth. I'm talking about the kind of growth that when you have it, it changes your life. That's what we're going to talk about in this video. So there are 5 reasons we're going to cover today your business can't scale. Reason number 1 is not enough leads. You don't have enough leads. So you've got to resolve that problem. Now, before I even go into not having enough leads, in case there's anybody watching this who doesn't have a business and you don't even know what a lead is, let me describe what a lead is. A lead is somebody who has some level of interest in hearing what you have to say about your offer because of a problem they already know they have. That's a lead, okay? Now, you don't have enough leads for a myriad of reasons. Maybe you don't have enough leads because you didn't even know you needed to have leads, right? And so one of the things that I learned to do when I first got started as an entrepreneur, I got started in the financial services business, I learned how to prospect. And I'd go out and I'd talk to strangers and I'd just knock on doors sometimes. I'd talk to friends, I'd talk to neighbors, I'd walk up to some stranger and just start talking to them. One of the things that I've discovered as I've developed proficiency in sales is that prospecting is largely a waste of time. Instead, you would be better off to generate leads because then you only spend time talking to people who've already raised their hand, okay? So, how do I generate a lead? Well, I generate a lead by giving somebody something they already desire to have in exchange for something I desire to have. So most people think that promotion is marketing, right? So what do? They go out, they hand out flyers. The only thing maybe in the world that's worse than prospecting is handing out flyers. Flyers are a ridiculous waste of time, effort, energy, and money. If you are a business owner and you're handing out flyers, I know you're broke. So let's fix that. What do we do first? Stop handing out flyers. What do you do next? You start generating leads. Instead of handing out a flyer, figure out a problem you know your ideal client has, or better yet, 5 problems, or better yet, 7 problems. If they're 14, that's even better. And then you solve those problems for that client. Don't have so many that it becomes overwhelming. Somewhere between 5 and 15 is a good number. Okay. And so you want to create what we call a lead magnet. Why do we call it a lead magnet? Because a magnet attracts something. So you want to create something that attracts someone. So if I were in financial services today, I would create a lead magnet that says something like this: the 5 biggest mistakes married couples make that cause them to have financial devastation, or the 5 biggest mistakes married couples make that lead to bankruptcy. And I would use that to generate leads of married couples. Then I would do the 5 biggest mistakes single parents make that lead to bankruptcy. Then I would make one, you could literally take that one headline, the 5 biggest mistakes doctors make that cause them to end up in bankruptcy, the 5 biggest mistakes plumbers make, the 5 biggest mistakes electricians make. And you can you can make the same exact lead magnet for a wide array of different avatars, individuals, particular types of clients, okay? The 5 biggest mistakes they make. Now, why do I say the 5 biggest mistakes? Before I do that, let me give you a belief that I have. Belief number 1. The biggest mistake most business owners make in lead generation, and I usually only teach this on my Make More Offers Challenge, but I'm going to teach it right now, not as in depth, but I'm going to teach it anyway. The biggest mistake business owners make when they generate leads, when they're attempting to generate leads, is they're attempting to generate leads towards pleasure. So they'll say 7 steps to 7 figures. Okay? The scam alarm goes off in people's mind when they read that. When you make somebody a promise who doesn't know you, they automatically don't believe you. Like, why would you do something good for me? I don't even know you. So you have to understand human nature some, and human nature says that people who don't know you don't trust you. Period. That's it. If a stranger walked up to you and said, "Do you mind if I hold your wallet for a minute?" What would you say? No, right? Because you don't trust them, right? I don't know you. I don't know you. I don't even want anybody calling my phone. Like, why do you have my phone number? I don't know you, right? Okay. So I want wrap your mind around this now. Wrap your mind around this. I'm going to ask y'all a question. Y'all can give me an answer. Are there more people in the world who know you or don't know you? Don't know you. Good answer. So since there are more people in the world who don't know who you are, doesn't it stand to reason that your lead magnet should appeal more to strangers than people who do know who you are? Okay, well, here's what's really cool about a stranger. A stranger will not trust you to lead them to pleasure, but they will trust you to lead them away from pain. What do I mean by that? If I was at First Watch, I asked the lady to bring me a cup of hot water. She was new service. She brought me a cup of hot water. I thought, that's interesting. They've never brought it in a styrofoam cup before, right? Because I put my silverware in the hot water to get all the restaurant off of it. Okay, so I put my silverware in there, and it tipped over the cup, and the hot water spilled all over me. This guy jumps up from 2 tables. "Oh, sir, are you okay? Are you okay?" "Oh, thank you. And I let this guy help me because I didn't know him from the man on the moon. But I was in pain. And he was helping me by giving me stuff to get this hot water off of my lap, right? Okay, so we will trust a stranger to lead us away from pain. We will not trust a stranger to lead us towards pleasure. That's why when you create a lead magnet, it needs to be 7 biggest mistakes, 7 biggest pitfalls, 7 most grave dangers, the 5 biggest potholes on the road to financial independence, right? You want to paint a word picture that causes people to realize, wait a minute, that's my problem. Right? If you're a marriage counselor, the 7 things you should never say to your spouse or you will end up in divorce court. Right? And so you create lead magnets that lead people away from pain. You could lead people away from pain with a powerful promise like the 7 things you have to do to avoid bankruptcy in the coming financial collapse. See, you're kind of playing both sides of it, but you're still you're warning them about danger. Do you understand? It's easier for people to believe bad news than it is for them to believe good news. Well, if that's true, since I'm selling to humans, doesn't it stand to reason that I should work with human nature? If I work with human nature works for me. If I work against human nature works against me. And by the way, here's what happens. Like, I'm saying this to you right now, and you're kind of hearing me. But you on YouTube, you're kind of hearing me. But what you're going to do, and I'm just going to tell you right now, this is what you're going to do. You're going to translate what I'm saying into language that makes you feel comfortable, and then you're going to change it, and you're going to think you did what I said. I know this is true because I was just doing a coaching call 2 days ago, and Leigh said, "Myron, I've been in your coaching program for 4 months. I did everything you said, but I'm still not generating leads." "Okay, let me hear your headline." And all of them were towards pleasure. I'm like, you didn't do what I said. You did your version of it. It's not the same thing. Put these words on a headline. 5 biggest mistakes, blah, 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 causes them to have this problem. You'll generate, so do you understand if you generate 3.3 leads a day, that's 100 leads a month. That's 1,200 leads a year. If you're, and by the way, that's not a lot of leads. It's a lot of leads if you're generating none. Right? You got 100 new people that you can show your stuff to, that you have for sale. That's good. 100 new people a month. If you close 10% of those, that's 10 sales. If your offer is $1,000, that's $10,000 a month. That's really basic math. Say, "Myron, I'm not that good at sales." Okay, so let's close 3%. That's $3,000 a month. That's $3,000 a month. That still changes your life. That can buy you a new house or change your car, get you a new car. We're talking about 3 leads a day, okay? So the first reason, they don't generate enough leads. So that's number 1. What's the second reason? The second reason is maybe you're this person. Maybe you have plenty of leads. You're just not good at sales. If you're not good at sales, it doesn't matter how many leads you generate. People ain't gonna buy from you. Why are people not good at sales? The number one reason people who are bad at sales is because they are thinking about themselves. Did I say that too fast? They are thinking about themselves. Oh, I hope this person says yes, because if they say no, what will I do? I'll be crushed. I really need to make a sale so I can make a commission. You're thinking about yourself. The best thing you can do to get better at sales is to become obsessed with the problems of the people you sell to. See, I used to play all these psychological games on myself. Back in the days when I used to do prospecting. My objective when I was prospecting was to get 10 no's in a row. So prospect one person, they say no, another 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 person, they say yes. Now I got to start over. 10 no's in a row every day. You'll be one of the most successful people. Like if you want to do prospecting, you can be successful at prospecting. You go get 10 no's in a row every day. You will find out, you thought getting yeses was hard. 10 no's in a row is almost impossible, even if you're terrible. Why? Because there's just some people out there looking for what you sell. Now that should be exciting. So for me, I don't worry about people saying no. I don't really care. I am so disconnected from needing somebody to need my thing. If they say no, they say no. If they say yes, they say yes. I don't care. Tell me yes or tell me no, but tell me now, I gotta go. Like I am not interested in convincing you. People who think sales is convincing don't understand sales. Sales is not convincing people to buy. Sales is persuading people to buy. The difference between convincing and persuasion is this. Convincing is when I want you to do something I want you to do for my reasons. Persuasion is when I help you make a decision you already desire to make for your own reasons. But in order for me to help you make a decision you desire to make for your own reasons, I have to know what your reasons are. And in order for me to do that, I gotta care more about you than I do about me. Then I get good at sales. Now, another reason people are really, really bad at selling, and I don't usually share this with people unless they pay me a lot of money, but I don't know, I'm feeling generous today. So the YouTubes are gonna be blessed. The reason they're bad at sales is because they think that being good at doing presentations is the same as being good at sales. When I started in sales, my regional vice president told me, because you had to do, when I got started selling insurance, I had to do a presentation in front of my regional vice president in order to get the approval for me to talk to a client. I wasn't even allowed to talk to a client unless he gave me a go-ahead. I had to get a green light from the RVP. I practiced my presentation. I bought two flip charts. I tore one of them apart, took all the pages off, and I wrote down what I was gonna say. You've never seen anybody more obsessive about, like, I'm gonna make this work. I would write down what I'm gonna say at the end of this page to lead into the next page, so I'm not just stumbling around saying and then turn the page, right? So I created transitional phrases between each page on my flip chart, because we didn't have PowerPoints, we didn't have iPads, we didn't have computer. When I started selling, there was no such thing as a personal computer. A PowerPoint, what's that? When you point at somebody and flex at the same time. Like we didn't have it, right? And so I had to create some transitional phrases. And so I memorized this presentation, worked on it for hours and hours and hours. Sat down with my regional vice president, Bill Travis. He stopped me in the middle of my presentation, called his wife to come to his office. Donna, you gotta come in here and hear this. This is the best presentation I've ever heard. This guy was making $10,000 a month back in 1985, when $10,000 a month was a lot of money. And he said, I had the best presentation he had ever heard. I knew I was fixing to get rich. This guy's making $10,000 a month. I got the best presentation he's ever heard. I'm about to get rich. And with the best presentation he had ever heard, it took me 18 months to make my first sale. Why? Because being good at presenting is not the same as being good at selling. So, what do I have to do to go from just being good at presenting to also being good at selling? I have to understand that there's something in selling that's more important than the presentation. What is the thing in selling that's more important than the presentation? The positioning of the offer. The positioning of the offer is more important than the presentation of the offer. In fact, I would rather have great positioning with an average presentation than a great presentation with average positioning. Now, what does positioning mean? The human mind can only learn by contrast. I can't understand left if I don't understand right. Can't know up if there is no down. Can't perceive hot if there is no cold. Contrast is essential to comprehension. Are y'all tracking? Everybody say yes. Okay. So when I present something to somebody, if I don't position it next to something, if I don't give them something like to compare it to, they're going to position it next to something, usually that is worth less and costs more. I'm going to position it beside something. That's worth less and costs less than my offer. Oh yeah, well I could buy your coaching program, or I could go buy me a new car. Right? True, but the car ain't gonna make you no money. Right? So I'm gonna position it beside something that costs more and is worth less than my offer. For instance, if I said to you, hey, what I'll do, I'll give you my Mercedes, $170,000 car. I'll give it to you for $50,000. That's a deal. Who wants that deal? Everybody wants that deal, right? But the car's not going to make you any money. And you can't sell it. You have to drive it. You can't sell it. It's not going to make you any money. Which would be more valuable to you? A car that you pay $50,000 for and all you can do is drive it? Or learning a new skill that can buy you as many of those cars as you'd like? Right? How many of you have a college degree? Where are my college folks? College degree. Okay, how much do college degrees cost? Everybody knows, a lot, right? We have way too much. Okay, they cost a lot. Let's say right now a college degree, when you include tuition and room and board and books and food, all that, let's say it's going to be $120,000 on the low end. On the low end, right? And if you got kids in college, you know it costs that much and more. Okay, cool. So let's just call it $120,000. When you graduate from college with a degree that costs $120,000, what's the likelihood of you getting a job that makes you $120,000 a year? Almost none. What are the chances you're going to make $100,000 a month? There are no chances. What are the possibilities that you're going to have a $100,000 day? Not even remotely possible. What about $1 million day? Right. But see, I've got coaching clients already who have $100,000 days and $1 million days, and my coaching program costs less than a college degree. So what did I do? I positioned it next to something that they've already paid more for, that they've gotten less out of. So now, if you go, well, I paid for that and it didn't give me this, so it makes me. Are y'all tracking? This is why positioning is more important than presenting. The most important thing in selling is for you, as the person selling, to understand the desires of the person you're selling to, the pains and the pleasures of the person you're selling to. Because then you can wrap your offer in words that show them how to avoid that pain and gain that pleasure. That's why questions, when you're selling, questions are the answer. Okay, so now let's say you've gotten better at generating leads. Let's say you've gotten better at selling. What's the other reason your business can't scale? Because you don't deliver on your promises. You're not good at the thing you said you were good at when you were selling. Yeah, you don't deliver. You don't deliver. And there's so many people out there in the world that sell stuff and then they just don't do it. You're just not good at it. So don't go out there in the marketplace telling people you're good at something that you're terrible at. They're gonna find out. And when they do, negative word of mouth spreads faster than positive word of mouth. And so what they're going to do is they're going to go tell everybody how terrible you are. Like, you can't keep the fact that the stuff that you sell is garbage. You can't keep that a secret forever. So here's what you have to do. You have to get to the place in your life and in your business where you're so good they can't ignore you. Where you're so good and you're so honorable that you would rather die keeping your word than live and not keep it. Most people don't have that kind of honor. Most people don't have the level of honor that I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do, even if it costs me time, effort, energy, money, pain, whatever. I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do because my word is my bond. Most people don't have that. I'm not saying nobody has it. I'm just saying most people don't have it. You know why? Because it's hard. It's hard to have character. It's hard to be honest. It's hard to be on time. It's hard to tell the truth. It's hard to do what you said you're going to do, even when it costs you more than you thought it was going to cost. But you got to do it. Because if you don't, they're going to find out. And you can't have good enough promises, good enough presentations, good enough positioning to overcome a bad reputation. How many of y'all tracking? Wave at me, talk to me on my peeps. Okay, so you're not good. So let's say you're good at generating leads, you're good at making sales, and you deliver on your promises. How comes your business ain't scaling? Well, because you don't have enough profit. Not enough profit in the things you sell. There are two primary reasons there's not enough profit. Well, three. Three primary reasons there's not enough profit in the things you sell. Number one, you sell a service. And because you sell a service, the service requires time to fulfill. Now, it's not to say you can't scale a service-oriented business. You can. You can scale a service-oriented business when you have a lot of automation and a lot of delegation, right? In other words, you need to have people that you pay to do some of that work, and you need to have technology that does as much of that work as possible. Then you can scale. You can scale a service-oriented business. I like selling products better than I like selling services. I sell both. I sell products, I sell services. I sell products, I sell books. I sell courses. I sell services, I sell coaching. Most of the coaching I sell is group coaching. So I sell the coaching a bunch of times, but I deliver it all at the same time. When I do one-on-one coaching, which I almost never do, 10, 20 times a year, okay, it's either $40,000 an hour or they just buy a whole day, a VIP day for $350,000. Either one of those, I'm okay. I don't really like it, but I'm okay with it at that price. I'm not okay with it at any other price. Now, you say, what do you mean you're not okay with it at any other price? So, one person who recently bought a VIP day from me, he asked me when he was buying it. He said, instead of paying you $350,000, can I just pay you $200,000 and just get part of the VIP day? One of the things they get is they get interviewed on my YouTube channel. Can I just get part of the VIP day and No. Why did I say no? Now, can I give you $200,000 and get part of the VIP day? No. Why did I say no? Well, a couple reasons I said no. First of all, I don't want to have a business where somebody else determines the price of my stuff. That's one. Number two, if I'm telling people the VIP day is $350,000, but I make a concession because I want to get $200,000, now I'm no longer a person of my word. So it's still a hard no. Are y'all tracking? And so I said no. And I was perfectly fine with him just not buying it. I'm okay if you don't buy it. Like, I'm not trying to get you to buy it. See, fortunately for me, I'm good enough at sales and good enough at delivering on my promises. I don't need you to say yes, because enough people already do, right? So I like selling products more than I like selling services, but when I sell services, I sell them for a premium, and then I either deliver them in a group, or if I deliver them one-on-one, it's really a premium, okay? So you don't have enough profit built into yours, number one, because you sell a service, or because you sell a commodity. What is a commodity? A commodity is something that only has utilitarian use. It's something that just does the thing it does. It has intrinsic value. It has no perceived value. The only value it has is intrinsic. For instance, a box of nails is just a box of nails. A box of $5 nails is not better than a box of $4.95 nails. They're just nails. So when you have a commodity, actually what happens when you sell commodities is your competition sets the price, because the person who sells the commodities for the lowest price, that's the person who makes the most sales. Are y'all tracking? What we want to do is we don't want to sell commodities. The other thing I don't like about selling commodities is if I'm selling a commodity, no conversation happens between me and the customer until they're ready to buy. They say, how much is this? I say, that's $5. They give me $5 and they go on their way. I like selling stuff that the bulk of the conversation happens long before the transaction. Are y'all tracking? So you can't build a lot of profit into a commodity sale, because it's just a commodity sale. The other reason there's not a lot of profit in your offers is because you copied your offer and your offer price from the person you copied it from, and there wasn't a lot of profit in theirs. See, when you understand the value that you bring to the table is not in the widget, it's not the product, not the pieces of the product. You get so many of these and so many of those and so many of these and 3 in blue and 4 in green. It's not in your person. You get so many hours of my time. But the value of your product is in the payoff. The only thing that people are paying for when they buy from you is the transformation. The bigger the transformation they desire, the higher the price can be. How many of y'all tracking? Does that make sense? So here's what's cool. Anybody can do this. So you can build more profit into the things you sell. I remember when I did my first premium value offer, I made the price so high, I thought, nobody's gonna buy this. I literally made the price so high, I knew nobody was gonna buy it. I made the price that high because I wanted to test, because other people were selling stuff for this price, but nobody's gonna buy that from me. I already knew. And it wasn't even a big audience. It might have been a crowd this size. So I made my offer, this big, ginormous, humongous price. I'm gonna teach you a skill, a sales skill. And it's gonna be epic. It's gonna be a 2-day training, and it's gonna be $3,000. 2 people bought it. Y'all heard me say it's $3,000, right? Yeah, it's $3,000. Okay, they bought it. So you know what I did the next time I sold it? I raised the price. Nobody's gonna buy it this time. Raised to $4,000. 7 people bought it. Same thing. I didn't change anything in the offer, just changed the price. 4,000. Raised the price again, 7,000. More people bought it. 7,500. More people bought it. I was looking some kind of crazy. Now I don't even sell that product by itself anymore, but when I stopped selling that product by itself, I was selling it for $30,000. We had more people buy it at $30,000 than we ever had buy it at 3. We had more people buy it at 30 than we had buy it at 12. One of the reasons your business can't scale is because you don't understand the value of your offer. And so what you do is you look around at what other people are doing that's in your mind is similar to what you're doing, and you make your price something similar. In my space, nobody offers stuff at the price I offer it at. Nobody. I don't know anybody. Maybe somebody does if they do their copying off of me. But I don't know anybody who does it. I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm just telling you, I don't know anybody who does it. Why? Because I didn't base my offer on their offer. I based my offer on the transformation I knew I could bring. How many of y'all tracking? Okay, that's the fourth reason your business can't scale. The last business your reason can't scale. I used to talk, now I just read about it. The last reason your business can't scale is because people don't buy often enough. Like, you don't have people buying from you often enough. The reason you don't have people buying from you often enough is, number one, because you don't have sales events often enough. It blows my mind. I teach people, one of the things I teach people how to do is I teach people how to do challenges, right? How to do a sales challenge or like an offer challenge. And so they create this offer and they do a challenge and they make $400,000. They say, I'm going to do that again in 6 months. What? Why would you wait 6 months? Put that thing on rinse and repeat, baby. Right? And so they don't have sales events often enough. That's number one reason they don't have clients buying often enough. The other reason they don't have clients buying often enough is because they have no continuity program. Continuity means you sell it once, but they pay for it from now on, like your cell phone, like your electricity and your water and your gas. Those are all continuity programs. Your Netflix, your Apple Music, those are all continuity programs. So when you wrap your mind around this idea that if I do these 5 things, if I generate more leads, do you realize right now, if you're generating no leads and you start generating 100 leads a month and you started converting 10 of those leads on a $1,000 offer, that's $10,000 a month. That's an easy path to $10,000 a month. And then you do what you said you're going to do, so when people talk about you, they talk good about you, they don't talk bad about you. And then a percentage of the people who buy your $1,000 product, they want more access, or they want to achieve something that's bigger, right? Or they have bigger aspirations. If you create a $10,000 offer and offer it to some of those people, a percentage of the people who take your $1,000 offer are going to buy your $10,000 offer. Why? Cognitive dissonance, maybe? I mean, cognitive bias, not cognitive dissonance. Cognitive bias, what's cognitive bias? Some people will buy the $10,000 thing to prove to themselves and others that they didn't make a mistake when they bought the $1,000 thing. It's just human nature. If it's human nature, if I work with human nature works for me. If I work against human nature works against me. Does that make sense? Are y'all tracking? So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we are not making these mistakes. If we don't make these mistakes, our business has to scale. It's not that it can scale. I'm going to say it in Texan in case any Texans are listening. It can't not scale. It has to. So generate more leads, get good at sales, deliver on your promises, create some high profit offers, and then get some continuity. It's so fascinating to me because if you remember back to a time in your life where you weren't doing as well as you're doing right now, all of us can remember that, right? Can I get a witness? Okay. Back then, the thought that you could be doing as well as you're doing now never crossed your mind, right? Well, just like as good, like you might be doing twice as good now as you were doing back then. You might be doing 5 times better now, 10 times, 20 times, 100 times. Well, just like you couldn't conceive doing better this good then, how good you're going to be doing in 10 years, you can't perceive that now. Like you can't even wrap your mind around. If somebody would have told me that I'd have a business that does what my business does today, if somebody would have told me that, well, I moved here 10 years ago. I moved to Tampa 10 years ago. I was broke as a joke and ready to choke. I'd already made millions and already lost millions. Like sold my house on a short sale for $400,000 less than I bought it for. My new Mercedes that I bought, they didn't repo it. I mepoed it. Say, you mepoed it? What's that? They didn't. Repo is when they come get it. Mepo is when you take it back to them. I mepoed my car, right? I had to borrow money from people who knew me as the richest person they knew. So I moved to Tampa on borrowed money 10 years ago. And then after I moved here, I kept one of my Mercedes because it was almost paid off. Oh no, it was paid off. And so I kept my 2006 Mercedes. And then it seemed like, I don't know how many times, I probably did it 3 times. I'm telling you this so you can know I'm no different than you. I'm just 10 years ahead. I'm not more than 10 years ahead of anybody in this room. Because 10 years ago, I was broke. 10 years ago, I was sitting on my patio, crying on my wife's shoulder because I couldn't figure out how to make entrepreneurship work again. So I'm not, like, you're better off now than I was 10 years ago. How cool is that? So I remember I had this other Mercedes, this 2006 CLS 500, and I'd go down to this payday loan, this loan shark place on Del Mabry and Waters Avenue with the green sign. They'd loan me $5,000 on my title. And I'd go borrow $5,000, I'd use it to go make some money, and then I'd come back and pay it off, and then a couple months later, I'd go borrow $5,000 on my title again. This is 10 years ago. It might have been 8 years ago that I did that. Why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this, I'm not different than you. I've just been doing what I'm doing longer than you. I've been doing this stuff the right way longer than you. When you start doing this stuff, generating more leads, getting good at sales, delivering on your promises, having some high profit products, and having some continuity, you'll get to the place maybe where you're making $10,000 a month just in continuity, or $50,000 a month just in continuity, or $100,000 or $200,000 a month just in continuity. It's hard to wrap your mind around it when you're not doing it yet. But I'm telling you, 10 years ago, it felt so hard to me. This was not clear in my mind. You know what's clear in my mind? I used to be rich, now I'm broke. I feel like an idiot. That was clear in my mind. That was very clear. I used to be rich. I used to have more money than I had time to spend, and I am broke. And raking and scraping and borrowing money on the title of my car. I'm like, this was not a part of my entrepreneurial vision. But guess what? These things right here created the rise of the Phoenix. It's a whole different story now. I remember I was talking to Jerry, one of my mentors, back in probably 2013 or 2015 probably, when Ty Lopez was really like killing social media. Like, Jerry, how much do you think Ty makes? He said, I don't know, man, probably about $800,000 a month. And Jerry was guesstimating, but he knew Ty, and it's not like they had a conversation, so I'm not disclosing Ty's income, right? He said, probably $800,000 a month. And I thought to myself, $800,000 a month? How does somebody make $800,000 a month? What do you do with $800,000 a month? Like, my brain couldn't wrap around it. I was like, what are you talking about, man? He turned my brain into mashed potatoes that day. $800,000 a month. If we don't do at least $800,000 a month, well, more than that, we're having a bad month. I was broke 10 years ago. I'm not telling you this to impress you about me. I'm telling you this to impress you about you. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? In June, we did $7 or $8 million in June, in 1 month. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just telling you, if it's possible for me, it's possible for you. All I do is this stuff. All I do is the stuff in that Boss Moves book. That's it. I don't do anything else. I ain't fixing none of that. I ain't getting bored with it. I'm just getting paid with it. So if you will do these things, your business will scale. Not might scale, not I hope it'll scale, not I think it might scale. Your business will scale if you do this, period. Thank you for watching.